Hi everyone, it's Chris. Today I have a very short video for you. I'm going to be doing a little bit of watercoloring, and I am using this image from the Unity Stamp Company Kit of the Month. This kit is from February 2018 and it's entitled Being Who You Are. I'm using my original Misti for my stamping today. I've removed the mouse pad from my Misti so I have that extra depth that I need. Sometimes when you use cling rubber stamps, it's kind of hard to see where you're placing them. And using my Misti, it makes it so simple because I can just rearrange them just a little bit based on the grid lines that are on the lid of the Misti. So that makes life so much easier. Now this bottle that I am just kind of twirling around is a liquid watercolor ink, and it's something new that I saw in January when I was at Creativation in Phoenix. And once I saw them there, I knew I had to have these. So just a couple weeks ago, I found them at Hobby Lobby. It is a liquid watercolor ink from Brea Reese, and it has glitter in it, and it is so much fun to use. These are very inexpensive bottles of ink. There is only 14 colors, so it's really quite reasonable to get them all, and of course, I need them all. Now the color that I'm using here is gold, and it looks a little greenish on my little laminated palette, my fancy palette. And but when I put it on the paper, as it dries, it really becomes a very shiny gold, and the glitter shows up more as it dries. I'm applying the paint with my Faber-Castell water brush, and because it is a liquid, you really don't have to add much water. And I like using this water brush because the amount of water that comes out from this brush is very easy for me to use. I love how much control I have. Now the second color that I'm using, this is called Raw Umber. So the two so far are Raw Umber and Gold. And I'm putting a little shadow underneath, also adding a little bit of shadow, some depth underneath the chimes of the alarm clock, and adding some to the legs of the alarm clock. Now I am going to thin this watercolor right through this area because I'm going to put a little bit of shadow on the face of the clock as well. So I'm just kind of putting a very light line right underneath the edge of like the frame or the case of the clock, and I want to put just a little bit of shadow underneath that glass face. Now you see that I clean my brush. I just have a baby wipe just off to the side. And that's how I clean my water brush between colors. And I'm really spoiled with this brush. I rarely use my regular paintbrushes anymore. Now I've added a little bit of the third color. This is cadmium red. And I just put the little dots in for the little hearts that are on the face of the clock and the heart underneath my sentiment. Now that my first layer of paint is dry, I'm going back with a little bit more paint to give a little more depth on those chimes, adding a little bit deeper gold, and then you'll find that I start mixing in some of this raw umber. And I kind of made an accidental discovery. My gold of my little classic alarm clock was turning brass, and I loved that look. So by painting in gold first, and then adding a little bit of the raw umber, I really got this cool brass or bronze color, and I was really excited about this. So I added more to much of the casing of this alarm clock. So now I have a little brass alarm clock. Now I just wanted a little bit of shine on the face of the clock, and so I'm using a Spectrum Sparkle pen just to add a little bit of that glitter look to the face of the clock as well. And a little bit more in that shadow because I had thinned that just a little bit so I wasn't seeing a lot of that shine. Now I'm just going to assemble my card. I have found a kind of a pinkish red mat, and I'm just going to put it right on a craft card base, and I will have my completed card. And this only took like 15 minutes. So these are fun. I hope you try them, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.